Per usual, everything on this channel is for educational purposes only and is not intended as financial advice. It's Wednesday, let's take a look at some alts. Alts having a tough time. Just a tough time in this market because we have a barbell situation going on. We have Bitcoin, lowest risk in the crypto universe, and meme coins, nonsensical community stuff, the highest risk in the crypto universe, both doing very, very well. Everything in between, the sagging middle, is certainly lagging BTC and meme coins, and we'll take a look at all that, but it's just not catching much attention at the moment. So the difficulty for me here is, okay, do we try to look for laggards and play those to the long side, rotating out of BTC and memes into this other stuff, or do we just wait for BTC to pull back a little bit in the hopes that then we can catch along on some of the laggards? But as far as a signal outside of the barbell, it's very thin, very, very thin. This kind of says it all, right? This is total 2 against BTC. You can use it as an index for the health of the market. Dominance is at 61. I mean, you don't even need a chart on dominance. This is inverse dominance, but this is clearly showing you where the strength is, and it's not alts broadly. Now, if you did memes versus BTC, that would look much stronger. That's like in breakout territory. But the alt universe that includes ETH, Sol against BTC, not doing well. Not doing well. Lagging pretty dramatically here. Total 2 looks great. Sure, right? But this really is not where your head should be. Your head should be here. It should be, okay, what is winning right now? What has been winning? What has been the easy trade? The easy trade is buy BTC and do nothing. You know, I know it's the altcoin video and I should be super excited about alts, but the truth is it's just really not been there, you know? And you can say total 2 is in a massive cup and handle, and this is going to go to, let's say, just 2.5 trillion. I don't know, right? Sure. But does that mean BTC is at, I don't know, 5 trillion, right? So for me as a Bitcoin first person, Bitcoin maxi person, I don't mind this view. It's just if you're looking for other stuff to trade, I don't really see much else that looks tradable, honestly. Well, again, we'll take a look at all this, but for the most part, alt's really lagging here. So you kind of have to hope for BTC to slow down but not pull back. BTC maybe to consolidate around 100K, and then alts can have their day, have their catch up. But so far, it's really been a Bitcoin story. And that is with stables printing like mad. This is Tether going from 120 to 125 billion very quickly. USDC, honestly, not doing too much, but Tether is printing significantly lately. So it should be good for alts. Should be, eventually. And maybe the liquidity will make its way into alts eventually. But where we stand here hasn't seemed to be the case. People are onboarding into BTC with that liquidity. This is Jungle Beat. I'll put the link to this in the description of the video. He's looking at Bitcoin price, Google Trends, and app rank, crypto app rank in the App Store. And we're starting, this is going to be like impossible to see on the video if you're on mobile, but we're starting to get to the overheated zone. You can see where we were in overheated zones previously in 2018, in 2021, in 2022, in 2024. This doesn't have to be the top. I'm not saying it's the top, but yeah, we're getting overheated a little bit. And I think that's undeniable. We'll take a look at the technicals on that. Before I go any further, let me mention today's video sponsor, Kraken Pro. Kraken Pro is a complete overhaul of the Kraken trading experience with a one-stop shop for advanced and professional traders. Kraken Pro enables efficient trading execution across multiple markets with a UI that allows for unique optimization tailored to your trading style. You can check out Kraken Pro with the link in the description of this video. Not investment advice. Crypto trading involves risk of loss. Cryptocurrency services are provided to U.S. and U.S. territory customers by Payward Ventures, Inc., PBI, DBA, Kraken. So on Kraken Pro, all this stuff is very customizable and modular, and you can add any widgets you want. For the sake of the video, I have it set up like this: watch list on the left, chart on the right, obviously. I like sorting by volume because generally that's where the story is for the most part. And obviously we're going to pop cloud on everything here. And like I've said many times, if you get BTC right, you're going to get alts right. And that's kind of been a lie recently because BTC doing very well here. Most alts underperforming outside of the memes, which we'll certainly get to. So if I were to show you this chart, you know, what's your first instinct? Wow, that's so oversold or potentially overbought. You know, we're getting to this parabolic stage here. Feels like we're running a little bit on fumes, pushing into 100K. We don't have a daily bear div yet, so that's a good thing. But I don't think anybody would be surprised if this at some point tried to pull back here. We've just gone up very quickly. Last night, pre-CPI, I was looking at the potential for some sort of diamond top or M top, and you can see it tried. It really tried to M top, and CPI came in at expectations, and it didn't matter. And we had some more buying on US Open today. Another breakout, new all-time highs. But it's certainly a sign of we're getting close to the end, at least interim end, when I'm going to the hourly to try to figure out what the price looks like, right? On the daily, you have no idea, right? We haven't had much consolidation at all, and we're certainly in parabola territory. If we look at the chart pattern, the pitchfork, the Kijun level, the mean reversion level, all this collectively is telling me, be very careful up here. Be very careful up here. I would be careful with leverage. This is not financial advice, obviously. I'd be careful with leverage. I'd be careful adding a ton of risk up here. I'm super careful about adding any alts here, because if BTC is down 5, alts are going to be down 15, right? We saw that last night where BTC was down like, I don't know, 0.5%, and alts were down 5 to 15%. We are in the wheelhouse of expectations for this chart pattern, which was, we'll call it a complex inverted head and shoulders. We are in the wheelhouse for the 7-month consolidation target. And again, this is not over. I got to be careful when I say this. We're not done. We are getting to the point where we have reached the breakout expectations. The next step here is, can we continue to reconsolidate and continue the markup phase? That is common. That should happen. We are bullish, undoubtedly. But it certainly feels a little overextended up here. A little bit, right? If we look at the pitchfork on a higher time frame, you can see we are in this overextension of the pitchfork, similar place we were in March. So very quickly we went from the midline to trying to escape the pitchfork again. The counter to, hey, this is getting a little overheated, is the power law corridor is also here, or the power law midpoint is around 94, 95. And if we can break that, it's get buckled in, because, you know, we're going much, much higher. But that's an if this, then that. I'll believe that when I see it. But just looking at this pitchfork, you can see we're certainly overbought. Certainly. Now, RSI can stay overbought for a long time on the daily, on the weekly, right? That's really where we want it to live. We want RSI to live in overbought territory. But I would be very mindful of any divs here. We did have a new high today on RSI. It would not shock me if we try to make a higher high sometime the rest of the week. We make a new all-time high. It's a bear div, and that might be the final straw. Now, we don't have like a candle that's bearish here. You'd be looking for a dragonfly or something. But just looking at this tells me I'm very careful sitting in risk overnight to a large degree, and certainly adding to risk, like I said. But obviously, this has done very well. It's looked great. Doge is a completely different conversation, because we have now reached not only the bottom inverted head and shoulders target, which was a measly 20 cents. We're now double that. And if you measure this as a falling wedge, we are in the falling wedge target. So this is outperforming quickly, but it's getting within the wheelhouse of expectations. Now we do have a weekly cloud breakout. We've got this weekly kind of rising inverted head and shoulders, shoulder, head, shoulder. I still like this. I still think it goes higher. I think it does hit new all-time highs this cycle. Brave, I know. But again, I would just be very careful. I'd be very careful up here. If we go to the daily cloud, there's a level at 27 cents. Love that level. Love that for us on the Kijun. And you can see just how parabolic this is. This is currently a tweezer top on the daily, which is just 2 candles where the wicks look like this, like tweezers. So I really, again, I'm very careful about this. Of course, all this stuff can keep going forever. But you've got this on the BTC side. Miners are not following at all. They're going inverse. You've got MSTR that also looks very shooting star on the daily candle. It's also hit a similar level on the pitchfork. So I would just be careful here. Sol hasn't really gone much of anywhere over the past few days. And again, it's like, okay, I'm bullish Sol, I'm bullish long-term Sol, but do I want to add here or do I want to wait to see what happens with BTC? Because Sol could theoretically, let's call it just 185 or something. That would make sense to me. Sol and ETH both had head and shoulders on low time frames. You can see that here. Now we're trying to cancel that out, but shoulder, head, shoulder. We're trying to cancel that out now, and it may cancel out. But if I see this on a low time frame, I can't just assume, you know, it's going to keep going up, especially in BTC and Doge and all this other stuff looks a little stretched. So I'm not hoping for lower because I'm completely out of the market. It's just I'm hoping for lower so that we get that answer of the markets take a collective breath, collective breather. We flush out some leverage a little bit, and then we can keep going. But Sol looks great on the daily. It looks great on the weekly. I have no issues at all with this chart. I mean, I talked about this yesterday. Massive cup and handle there, undeniable. And if you think Sol's going to 1,000, what do you care? So you buy it at 220, or you buy it at 185, or you buy it slightly lower. What does it matter, really, at the end of the day, right? ETH, less bullish than Sol recently. Weekly cloud, I guess it is. It's trying to reconfigure its bullishness on the weekly on the cloud. It's trying to print a cup and handle on the weekly. So I don't think we're done. I don't think we're close to done, especially when we're printing these huge patterns like this. But the market just certainly isn't ready for alts to run. You know, BTC's certainly where it's at. But ETH on the daily, 2,800, 2,850, that's the mean reversion level here. Again, it had this low time frame, head and shoulders type stuff. It still kind of does. Anything below 3,100, and where could this go? This could go like 2,850. Okay, fine, right? Like that's how not complicated I make this. You know, does it break down? I don't know. I don't care. I'm not going to short this, but yeah, I like bids down here for sure. And you can see it reached its breakout target. It's still bullish on trend. It's still above the cloud. The cloud looks great. That's not what this is about. This is just like, okay, you know, let's read the room here. Do we have the strength to push to 100 on BTC? That's the first question. The second question is, can alts catch a bid? It doesn't feel like it yet. Now, Pepe just got listed on a bunch of places, and it reached its cup and handle target here. Doge was one of the first movers, so as a sector, memes were slated to do well because Doge is the purest form of meme, okay? and now everything else is following Pepe, Whiff, Floki, all this other stuff. And then on top of that, Pepe has this fundamental news of being listed in a bunch of places. So this has hit it's hitting its target now as far as this multi-month inverted head and shoulders. So I certainly don't like adding up here. Backing this way out. Is this a new all-time high for Pepe? I guess it is. So me personally, not chasing this at all. Ripple has started to wake up. For weeks I've said, I don't care about Ripple until it's above 66 cents. I don't care about Ripple until it's above the weekly cloud. Both of those things have happened. It also has this inverted head and shoulders quality to it. It's trying to break out of this right angled wedge or something, whatever this is called. So yeah, you know, I don't hate it. I don't hate it. It's kind of outperformed ETH recently. It looks okay. You know, it's meeting my criteria that I'd want for trend to be bullish. It's bullish on the daily. It's bullish on the weekly. Sure. This measures to, let's call it $1. Measures to $1 from here. Whiff on the meme side. This one also had we'll back this out. This one also had kind of a messier inverted head and shoulders. It was above the cloud. It held above the cloud. Cloud's not going to lie to you. This looks like it has a little bit of room, but from a risk reward perspective, it's within the wheelhouse again of where you'd first expect it to go. It looked better at 2, looked better at 250, looked better at 280. At 375, it doesn't look like an entry to me. Here. Sui. Sui has traded pretty cleanly on the cloud. It broke out of the downtrend. You got your inverted head and shoulders and or diamond bottom down here with this thing. We had this. It broke out of the cloud. Great. It had a Kijun bounce on the daily. Great. And it's just trending. You know, there's not really much else to say here. This is one of the few that's kind of kept up with BTC and memes, and it looks fine. It doesn't look troublesome on high time frames. On the daily, still bullish, obviously. In the hourly, it looks fine. You know, I don't see any landmines here. Looks completely fine here. Next on the list for volume is ETH BTC, and oh boy, somebody asked me today, What is this? What is this chart pattern? So famously, this is the Eiffel Tower. That's what it's called. But I also like Christmas tree, right? You can do little bulbs here. Do little bulbs. We got a star or an angel at the top. I'm more of like a star person. Christmas tree. Completely given back everything, right? These are the charts you need to be watching, not the USD charts. That's like half the story. This is the real story here. On the daily, it's giving everything back. It is still below the 50-day, I believe. Still below the 50-day. Still far below the 200-day. And on the weekly cloud, it is certainly below everything. On the daily cloud, it never got back above the daily cloud. So really at no point this was trend bullish. Now we had talked about the bull div here. Okay. That appears to have played out. That appears as though that's all we're going to get from ETH-BTC in the moment. I have no idea how low this goes necessarily, but it's certainly not trend bullish. Not yet. ADA has not quite reached any falling wedge targets. Similar to Doge, it had this massive falling wedge and then kind of bottomed out. We were playing around with some long side targets a couple weeks ago, or long trade a couple weeks ago. It's above the cloud. It looks okay. This was trading on some rumor that Charles Hoskinson was talking to the White House about crypto. Okay, fine. I don't see a great setup trade here at this point. You know, it's certainly outperformed a lot on the way up. I didn't trade it. And from here, the cloud likes like 48 cents. On the weekly, it is still below the weekly cloud. So I think you gotta be patient there. But this is the real story. The real story is ADA BTC, which just like ETH BTC, it has just been in a downtrend, right? So my whole thing is, sure, we can bounce and mean revert or go from the bottom of the channel to the top of the channel. But why should I really care about any of this stuff if it just hasn't had a history of doing well against BTC? The last time it did well against BTC, it took 2 years to break out. It took a year to bottom. We're still in the channel. We're still very near all-time lows for ADA BTC. So I just don't see why it's super relevant, honestly. Like, great, I'm happy for the ADA people. Things are moving up. But BTC is what you need to be using as your measuring stick. Doge BTC, trying to break out of the weekly cloud. Just a wild chart all around. Parabolic for sure. Tweezer top there for sure. Again, I would be super careful on this. The daily Kijun is always your friend. It's there at 329 sats. That is the mean reversion target forever and always on anything that looks like this. But I think it's pretty hard to say, yeah, now's a great time. Now's a great time to jump into Doge BTC based on this. This did have a falling wedge as well, similar to Doge USD. Similar to GME, honestly. If we pull up the GME chart, the first breakout that was last year, right? It was 2020, you know, like all the alts. Very similar chart. So maybe cycle target up here, but it's way, way too early to think like we're going there tomorrow. You know, this stuff takes time. I also looked at the Doge MVRV. The Doge MVRV typically tops out between like 3 to 6, and it's getting close to that. I pulled that up on Coinmetrics if anybody's curious. You can do that for the proof of work coins. It's less obvious for the proof of stake coins, but it wouldn't surprise me if Doge settles down a little bit at the very least. SHIB, back to the meme factory. This one, I traded, it played out. I'm out of it. Sure, you can chase it. You can just hold it for the cycle. For me, rather than trimming BTC, if I've got a portfolio of BTC and beta being anything that's not BTC, that includes miners, MSTR, alts. What am I going to trim first? I'm going to trim the leveraged beta stuff first. So that for me, that's alts. For me, that's stuff like SHIB. But sure, it basically hit the target. You know, we basically got within the wheelhouse. So there's nothing to be angry about here. It's just, this is why you watch this stuff for months play out and consolidate. And then ideally it gives you an obvious bias where there's some sort of chart pattern. You can say, okay, I know this, it looks like X. When we see X typically breaks up or down. On top of that, you had your cloud stuff. So from here, I don't know. I mean, I don't have any ideas. I'm out of ideas. The trade is done. This needs to reconsolidate, figure out what it wants to be. When it tries to break all-time highs again. I think this one also had, probably you could draw some sort of, maybe I guess it's just a channel, not so much a wedge, but it's certainly bullish. It's certainly bullish. I think the issue with the meme coins here is there's just a lot of them now. You know, it's not just Doge or whatever else. There's like 10 of them, right? And there's more and more every day. Sol BTC, really don't have anything to say. It looks fine. It looks okay. But if you're bullish on Sol going to 1,000, you're certainly bullish on Sol BTC. This has the trappings of an ascending triangle plus a cup and handle. You know, that's all they would do. It's going to take a minute for this to break out. This might take us into Q2 2025, honestly. So do I want to sit in this now? I don't. I would rather trade the breakout or wait until 2025. But yeah, undeniably, this looks good. Definitely. It's just, you know, it's chopped since March. Okay. There's no call to action here for me on Sol BTC. AVAX on the daily still looks okay. You know, and I kind of like these charts where they've broken out. We've gotten the answer. Yeah, it's above the cloud. It hasn't gone to infinity yet like the meme coins have. It's certainly underperforming memes and BTC. But these are the charts I like on a pullback. So maybe that's around 30 for AVAX. But this still looks very much okay. I think Link looks similar. We'll look at that in a second. T is another one that so many people are watching. And so many people have been sitting in for months, if not longer. And they're waiting for this inverted head and shoulders to play out. We're getting there, slowly but surely. But if you look just at the cloud, we're still below the daily cloud. We tried to break out. We teased and tickled a cloud breakout, but we're not there yet. I don't know why this works so well. Okay. Let me be honest with you for a second. I don't know why the cloud works so well. Maybe it's just pareidolia. Maybe it's just confirmation bias. But thus far, it has only been price action below the cloud since March. When this breaks up, I like a long trade, but we're not there yet. We're not there yet. I like it at 580. I like it at 650. I like it at 6. I mean, this is like the Square chart where Square has taken years to consolidate. In altcoin land, months is very much years. Here's Link. Similar to AVAX. Looks okay. Looks fine. Trend-wise, still bullish. I certainly like dip buys on Link. That's kind of it, you know? AVAX, Link, memes I like deeper. BTC I like, what I say, on the cloud. Nothing yet. I think it's going to have a hard time getting below 85, honestly. But the cloud's still trying to figure out what the heck's going on. You know, the moving averages are still moving way up there. Ripple BTC, this spiked, basically just ranging, really nothing of note. Bounced on all-time lows. That's kind of it. That's all I got for Ripple BTC. LTC, similar to AVAX and Link, broke out on the cloud. Hasn't really gone anywhere yet, but looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Trend-wise, it looks okay. Sol ETH, I don't think looks bearish at all. I think it still looks fine. It's a jumbled mess. There's not much to really say. It kind of looks like Bitcoin dominance, where it's going up. You know, if you're an ETH maxi, you're saying, "Oh, this is a rising wedge." If you're a Sol maxi, you just don't care. But I don't think it looks bearish at all. Curve was one I was looking at today on my scan. That I love the protocol. I've used it a lot historically, but the token hasn't ever really done much of anything. You've got a pretty obvious descending trend line, diagonal trend line there. So let's see if it can get above 0.52. Let's see if it can get above the daily cloud and close above the daily cloud for the first time since March. This could be a diamond bottom down here. If I was trading this to the long side, you could just say, well, my stop loss is like 21 cents. And my target would be, let's do a non-conservative target. My target would be at least 67 cents. And your risk reward is like 3.5, right? That looks okay. Possible. But again, if BTC pulls back, do I expect Curve to hold steady? No, I don't. I expect Curve to probably make a new low there. A few more here, then we'll call it. Sector-wise, DPIN not really working. JUP, which is a DEX token for Sol, just looks like Sol. It hasn't really gone anywhere. ICP looks okay, trying to break out of the cloud here on the daily. I wouldn't expect any of these to be first movers. It's great to see gold just completely lose it against BTC. This is what you want. You don't want to be looking at this chart saying, oh man, I don't know. There's this channel here, but you know, it's still in the channel and it might be bullish. It might be risk off. No, this is like, you know, smacking you over the face. You got your answer. It broke below the channel. It broke below the daily cloud. It's clearly favoring BTC. I think, I don't have the full chart here on Kraken, but BTC over gold is at an all-time high here, I think. So it's very good news for us on the digital gold side of things. Lido, ETH beta, just doing nothing. Hasn't gone anywhere. You know, for me, that's just not the place to be. LTC, BTC, I believe that's an all-time low. So again, it's kind of telling you what you need to know there. It certainly shouldn't be the sole focus of where you should be trading, just because there's so much that's working here. And if you're trading something like that, it just doesn't make sense to me personally. Helium is another one. I thought Helium would be doing better or would look better, but kind of looks like a head and shoulders more than anything. You know, it's trying its best to break down. So really nothing going on with Helium. And then lastly, Link ETH. This is one that Brian Krogsgaard has showed me in the past that I thought I'd bring up again. It's kind of a mix of, you know, you clearly got something here, but you've also got like this head and shoulders. It kind of looks like Pfizer did, where it looked like it wanted to break out and then just didn't. So this would favor ETH running first over Link. So overall, BTC looks a little tired. Beta looks a little tired. Memes look a little tired. And I'd be very careful up here with the Barbell portfolio. That's all I got for this one. Like, dislike, comment, share, subscribe, and happy trading.